Welcome back to the Ace Run Pro coverage of the DGA Star City Classic, sponsored by Disc Gauntlet. Got a PDGA A tier and DGPT Q Series event, hosted by the Lincoln Flying Disc Club in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're here today at Beal Slough Disc Golf Course. I'm James Fleege, one of the tournament directors and course designer here at Beal Slough, joined by former Nebraskan and player on this card, Mr. John Jones.
Yeah, great to see the back nine action here. I don't think there's an easier side to this course. It kind of just keeps running. Maybe the back is a hair easier for birdies, but...
Yeah, I think there's stretches of a couple holes that tend to be where you score and other stretches where you hope to score.
Correct.
And we're here at hole 10, 577-foot par 4. Throwing over all this stuff you absolutely don't want to land in. We got OB running down the left side of the fairway here. As we bend around to the right, the slough comes into play here on the right, wrapping around the back side of the green with some guardian trees here in front of the basket, giving you a little something to think about on that second shot, and a slightly elevated basket.
Yeah, if you keep this one inbounds on your drive, it's pretty bread and butter to get it up to the basket. Anything OB, though, makes it very tough, or in those bushes.
Yeah. Hieb getting caught up in the sumac there. And I like that from Logan. Keeping it away from that left side OB, as long as you get the distance, makes it somewhat of a foolproof tee shot there.
Right, that's the preferred route for sure.
That hooks up, should be fine. A little short from Fletcher. Might be slightly pinched off on that next shot, but likely workable.
I'm just throwing it as hard as I possibly can, knowing I can't get to those back trees, but...
Yeah, it sticks in.
Yep, sitting right next to Harpool, so... should be easy from there, you'd hope. Yeah, there's kind of not more of a gnarly spot to be on the course than in these trees right here. They're very tough to get out of.
Yeah, very dense. As you see, Aaron, the only way to get out, just going up. Well, that stays safe for Fletcher, at least.
Yep, caught that pine tree. Harpool got me by 2 inches, so I am up. Threw this one like an absolute moron, right at the OB. Luckily, it hit that and hit left, but man, you hate being that far of a drive and not being able to just toss it up like Harpool here.
Yeah. Logan bouncing around in those trees. You're normally trying to play to the right of those, right?
Right.
By the basket.
Yeah, I keep skipping them too far long. It's probably 25 foot long and you're right into the water, so you almost would rather just hit the trees in the front and at least have a birdie putt than go long.
Yeah, sometimes you see you playing into those trees like that, just crashing into them. Sometimes you can get a kick and end up bouncing, back, having to putt through, and the angles through those can be real tight and not favorable occasionally, but Logan luckily sneaking through there.
Easy birdie.
Getting the birdie.
Really not a bad par for where he was at off that drive.
For sure.
Had my interceptor there by elevation just so it wouldn't go in the water. Lucky I threw it because it was pretty close.
And this brings us into hole 11. Very tricky green on this hole. 351 feet. Uphill, we're going to have OB with the slough on the right, once again near the basket. And we have this mando tree here that you need to go to the right of.
Yeah, the Mando's just devious. It makes you want to push it right, and anything can easily skip over into the slough. You got about maybe 20 foot off this cliff here, and it's just straight down in there.
Very steep drop right behind that basket. Really gonna make you think about if you're running putts on the green or if you're laying up and conceding to that par.
Right. A little unlucky not to catch one of them trees. That's a great shot, though.
Aaron can sneak through.
Money.
I like that.
Don't look like it on camera, but man, that's tough to get one to sit right by the basket there. You're usually about 40 foot away, just don't even know what to do on your putt, then contemplating running, and Fletcher just has to one-up him.
Like the way that's looking.
Yeah.
Stays safe.
Just the one small tree. I think that would have been down the hill with its speed, but I'm thinking I'm +1 right now. Gotta get something going, so even though this is tough putt for the death, then I gotta run it.
Hey, there you go.
Glad I did.
Great birdie putt there, man. Yeah, that's kind of right at that range where you see a lot of guys just thinking, I'm just going to lay this up, take my par, and get out of here. And Logan grabs his too.
Yeah, he had the true death putt there, where if he would have airballed that, it probably was going out of bounds.
You going to see a star frame on 11?
I think we might. I don't know if that'll ever happen again.
Yeah. Wow, 4 birdies on 11.
Yeah, we all miss 6 and 7, and then we come to this hole and we all get it. That's just how disc golf goes, though.
Yeah, that might be the first time in the history of the world that's ever happened. And we're at hole 12, 701 foot par 4. Trying to bite off as much distance as you can here off the tee. Keeping it straight, got OB line to the left. Got some trees that'll eventually be a problem to the right. But coming into this tricky green here, the gap tightens up. We're going to have OB running in front of the basket. Terraced green. Kind of tricky to get one to stick there. See a lot of guys just trying to play into the side of that hill on the second shot, going for the birdie, but like I said, tough to get them to stick.
Yeah, you don't have a ton of danger here on this drive unless you really turn it over. It's pretty hard to go out of bounds on the left side, but you kind of want to be more on that left side for a straighter up shot. And barely getting above that hill gets you on some good footing. If you're right on that hillside, it makes it way more tough.
For sure. Fletcher testing that inside line, but he's a little short of that hill you were talking about, but it does kind of flatten out there just a bit. Should be all right.
Had quite a bit of tail right to left on this. I thought I was going to flip over, but that's perfectly placed right behind that tree.
There you go. A little low from Fletcher.
Yeah, you're really trying to hit that hill. Maybe 20 right of the basket is the most open gap, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just debating it. It's pretty far for a patent pending, and I switched my... This was a mental error. I switched my mind at the last second and go, I'm going to try to go through these trees like a dummy. And yeah, that's what happens. Out of bounds, little tap of the cap there.
Yeah.
But
that flattens out. Ooh, and he's safe.
yeah, a little kick in from the camera guy there. No, he didn't touch it. That was
Good shot from Aaron. Ran
Yeah.
a little long, but we'll have a look.
still anything past the creek safe, and 2, you're totally fine with that.
Yeah, Harpool's going to find himself with a pretty dangerous one coming back down at that OB there.
Mm-hmm. I love all the top of the rocks being painted. It's pretty nice.
Shout out to tournament director Tony Odom, professional brick painter, getting that done before the tournament.
Thought that was going OB, but again, with the elevation disc, they don't go anywhere.
Ooh, Logan running that.
He ended up hitting the side of the wall, barely keeping him in bounds. Booyah.
And great putt from Aaron. Logan staying safe, collecting that par. Fletcher with the par as well.
Ogre, probably on my most favorite hole on the course, too, as far as funness.
Yeah. And this brings us to 13. Definitely the easiest hole on the course, but still got some tricky things to contend with. Gonna have OB surrounding that basket. All that area around the planter box is OB. That green can get a little fast with the skip. Got to be careful as it's so tight to OB, and then you would go to the drop zone off the tee if you miss the green.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising that this one played so easy with that drop zone. It's over 100 foot, I would think, from the drop zone to the basket, and you can then throw it OB from there again. So I guarantee you there's guys taking 5s out on this hole. Oh, yeah. See,
Very
if
close.
he'd have gone OB there, right back to the drop zone.
That's looking good. Oh yeah,
Perfect.
it's that nice straight skip.
Too easy for these guys. Got the old John door.
There it is.
Look up the first time Kershaw threw his curveball to
No, thank you.
You're not going to check that out. All right, so Aaron taking the par, 3 grabbing the birdie. And kind of moving into the final stretch of the course here. Going back into the woods on hole 14. 320-foot par 3. Got this gap about halfway down the fairway to get back into the woods. Can be a bit of a tricky gap to hit with the wind, but then the slough is back, and it's everywhere. Wrapping around the green. Drop zone that we're flying by there next to the Tony Odom bird bath. Tough hole.
Very tough. This is where it starts. At the end of your round, you could be shooting really hot and come to this point and just mess it all up. There's kind of those trees on the right there that Harpool splits. Can bounce you right back into the slough.
Yeah, they like to kick back into the slough more often than not there.
Yeah, I think the play is kind of aim a hair left of the basket to totally avoid those.
Yeah.
Exactly what Fletcher did. Oh, nice skip.
Ooh.
I was wondering how that stayed in bounds.
I was wondering that when it was flying too. You see those push long left OB quite a bit. Man, great job from Aaron.
Yeah, that's 4 pretty good shots on this one.
Absolutely. Oh,
Oof.
and that's going to go OB long in the basket.
Yeah, he was saying something about he didn't have his contacts in or something. Couldn't see that basket well.
Good birdie from Fletcher.
Very good. I got that stupid big tree in the way.
Oh,
Dummy. Could have got me under par for the round, but...
and birdie from Aaron.
I do love these wooden things on the bottom of the baskets. It just makes it looks like Beal.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love them.
that was the goal. Try to have a unique little touch out there with things like that. They're kind of a hassle to move around, I'll tell you that.
Guarantee.
Didn't anticipate that when I was building them, but they look nice, so we keep them.
Way nice.
Whoa, what is that? Yeah. Zach, I hit a lefty chicken wing.
And we're on hole 15. What many would say one of the signature holes here at Beal Slough, even though only at 323 feet. Very tricky. Beautiful tunnel shot here. Old Osage orange trees on the left. Slough once again on the right. I feel like I've said that a few times during this coverage. Tricky green too, sloping down to the right there. A lot of those skips tend to push right, and some cedar trees there tend to make them collect in the slough if it's a little bit of an errant shot.
Yeah, pure shot on this. You need a little bit of a skip at the end, but...
Yep.
Man.
And that is very nice from Fletcher.
Too good.
And exactly as you said, just taking that skip a little short of the basket. Take that every time.
That's fortunate to be in the middle. If you're on the left side of those trees, it's no good. Little shankaroonie. It's kind of right in that distance. You kind of want to throw a fairway driver to get it down there, but that's what will happen to you if you get it right. It'll slide you way too far past.
Aaron getting around that. That can be a tricky spot on this hole. If you land about halfway up the fairway, that gap seems to feel almost harder, I feel like, when you land in the middle of the fairway than it does off the tee.
There's a unicorn forehand. That's why I don't throw them. That thing was trash. Oh, can't even stand up straight. Got the Sonic again.
Hey, there it is. Great
Three's
par
a
set.
3, they say.
Yeah.
Barely catching on the right. That's why we forehand, though.
There you go. Nice putt from Fletcher. Always going to feel good grabbing the birdie on 15.
Yep, got a little smile out of him there.
There it
He's
is.
heating up.
Aaron grabs his par. Stroke. And that'll bring us into hole 16. Definitely a challenging tee shot coming down the stretch. Feel like this one can get pretty nervy at this point in the round. 405-foot par 3, similar to 14, hitting this gap going into the woods. Gonna have to have it slightly drifting right, starting right around here. Slew running right, deep of the basket, lots of trees. Really just has to be a pure tee shot getting all the way down there. Very tough hole.
Yeah, we call this one the don't 4 hole. A birdie is way rare, but man, you just don't want to get a 4 on this little hole.
Yeah.
And that's how you start with the 4 though, because now you got probably 250 foot to that kind of peninsula green. It's not easy if you're not through that first gap.
Well, and any sort of miss, kicking a tree, can kick left into that deep rough, kick right into the slough. It's just trouble in a lot of different places here.
Yeah, Hieb didn't really like that one, but I was telling him the farther you get down that fairway, then the second shot is just pretty easy.
Yeah.
Wasn't a 2, but
It's like that clipped a little something.
yeah, just barely on the top of it.
What are you throwing off that tee shot there?
I'm throwing T-bird. I'm trying to give it quite a bit of juice so it flips over at the end. Similar to that shot, but it's one of those holes that on paper it would look like it was a forehand hole, but it's really not. Yeah, I've been where Fletcher's there many times, and you kind of got forehand roller or get
Yep.
some type of skip.
There you go.
Giveth and taketh.
And Logan laying up for his par. Ooh, yeah. Kind of a tricky spot from Aaron here.
Such an insane angle and just slides it perfect.
Fletcher looking to save par from deep here.
Yeah, you almost can't run this one though.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little light bid.
Saw a handful of birdies on this hole on the weekend, and yeah, hole is certainly playing over par. Taking probably a stroke and a half on guys if you're getting the birdie on this hole. And also just a big momentum boost going into the final 2 holes of the course if you can get that. But even a par feels good.
Big time. Yeah, Harpool's talking. A couple years ago, I shoved the koi through the basket. I don't know if that was technically legal, but
I do remember that coverage. We're letting it slide. Hole 17, par 4, 545. Pretty tight gap off the tee. Gonna want to push right. It's not really about getting a lot of distance off the tee on this one. Kind of putting yourself in good position to go for the green on the second shot and trying to work between these 2 trees here to land up on this green if possible. It's about 18, 20 feet from the edge of that green to the basket, slightly elevated. Again, if there's wind on the green, even routine C1 putts can get a little tricky there. Aaron kind of pushing that outside edge. But lucky to hit that tree, really, and stay in.
yeah, this is pretty tough for the backhand. I just barely clipped one.
I do like the backhand play there, though. I mean, I feel like you get more distance off the tee, and if you can push up to that dirt service road outside of the woods, it does make that second shot so much easier.
Yep.
Or you just do that with a forehand, and, that works too.
Yeah, that one's too good. You just want to get past those trees. Anything out in the open, you should be able to try to up and down from there.
Yeah, a little inside from Fletcher. Ooh, a good bounce.
Yep,
Nice.
very good. It's kind of tough to go OB right without getting through a bunch of trees.
Yeah. Oh.
Cut it down. No, that's a good tree there. It makes
is
you
a good
really
tree.
finesse your shot. I have absolutely nothing. I'm going forehand roller. Got out, but bad angle. I thought I went back in the crap, so.
Fletcher taking the high route. And sticks it.
Stuck.
Man, love
Yeah.
that.
That was one of the best shots of the tournament. He had a little pinched off too, and man, what a great spike in there.
A little short from Aaron, but he'll have a putt.
Yeah, you're used to putting this one not up on the wall. You're used to putting outside. It's pretty hard to stick it.
As you can see, yeah, Harpool's bouncing off there just a bit. And that is rare, taking the high route like Fletcher did, just seeing it stick right on the green there.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't even one of those floppy disks either.
That's what I'm throwing there, the gecko, trying to stick it, but close enough.
There you go.
Easy money.
Harpool with the birdie.
Fletcher really capitalizing on that kind of a shank of a drive, but put him in enough position. That's what you want to do. That shot was so good, too, in real life.
What up, guys? It's Mo here. Thank you so much for the support, not only this year, but every year I've been with Infinite. My new 2025 stamp is now live on infinitediscs.com. And it would mean a lot to me if you guys would go check them out. It supports my tour. I mean, who doesn't need another emperor in their lives, right? So go get one.
And here we are at hole 18, 573 feet, par 4. Mostly looking for a placement shot off the tee here. Getting somewhere up around this big branch, hanging over, or in the ditch works. If you really want to get in a good spot, right about here, but pretty tricky spot to get to. Got some OB, we're flying over there. The slough once again on the right with OB long. Tricky finishing hole. See a lot of birdies on it, a lot of pars, a lot of bogeys. Harpool taking that forehand shot. Generally puts you in a good position there if you get the distance.
Yeah, this is a tough one, though, where if you're not really into those trees, it can be a tough up shot, even though it's super short.
A little tight from Fletcher if it stables up.
Very good.
Yeah, that'll be safe.
Yeah, I used to throw a roller on this hole a long time ago, but the grass is too long, too far to get them down now.
Yeah, all the rain earlier in this week. Get that grass a little sticky. That can be not an optimal spot there.
No.
Oh,
Yeah, that just kept running too.
pushes through to the OB.
Yeah, so Hieb's OB in those bushes, but he's opting to take it back to give himself a better run. I think that's a good play.
Yeah, absolutely. Chipping up to a spot where you can get up and down there.
Meow.
Logan wants nothing to do with that birdie play.
No,
Going for
and
the par.
rightfully so. It's pretty easy to go out of bounds on before that wall or anything to the right.
Yeah, that's where you see most of the mistakes come from on 18. Is just getting aggressive there. Ooh,
Like
that was
me.
a bad kick, buddy.
Yeah, that was. I knew I was even par, so it was like, well, if I park this, I'm under par, so I had to kind of go for it, and it
Yeah.
just bit me.
Fletcher found himself a nice little line here.
Very
Yep.
good. Wow.
Another forehand.
What was he thinking after that first one went so terribly? About 50-50 ratio, so I knew that one was going to be good. Yeah, not the finish he wanted, but still a great round there.
Logan taking the par play. Very nicely done. Finishing the round at +1.
Yeah, not happy with the slew there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, good finish from Fletcher.
Yeah, that a -5, that was my goal at the start, so that's going to set him up really good for these next rounds.
Yep, you got to be happy with that on day one for sure. Logan, -4. Very
Still
good
very
round.
good.
And Hieb finishing off with 1 down. And that's going to do it for round 1 of the DGA Star City Classic, sponsored by Disc Gauntlet. Take a look at scores from the card here.
Yeah, Fletcher really turning it on there at the end. Kind of crawled himself out from even and ended up a sweet round.
Yep. Find himself 1 shot off the lead from Bennett Domeland and Peyton Mergen heading into day 2. Day 2 of the tournament is taking us to Roper West, the original disc golf course in Lincoln, and Nebraska for that matter, I think.
Yeah, one of the oldest in the state for sure.
Well, thanks for joining John and I here at Beal Slough for the Star City Classic. Thanks to Ace Run Pro, Lincoln Flying Disc Club, DGA, Disc Gauntlet, everybody involved with the event. Of course, Trenton once again there.
And my wife, Kristen. Yeah, thanks for having me. Lincoln's always got a special place in my heart, so this was awesome to do this with you.
Yeah, I appreciate you hanging out, John. Are we still going with the Pride of all Nebraska?
Always. I bleed that Husker red, man.
I love it.